It's that time again, folks, and do you know what? This episode I just wanted to do a little light exploring and float fishing. Join me on a trip down the river. I only had about 3 hours. Would I catch anything? Watch the film to find out. Well, I've come down to this, I'm going to say it's a chalk stream. I've never fished it this time of year before. You can see it's absolute jungle there. Urban fishing runs right through the estate here. There's a nice tree falling over there. I think somebody might have fished down there. I fancy wanting to fish at the back of the weed. I've got my polarising glasses on and I'm basically just after a bit of urban float fishing. Chances are dace, there's going to be minnows in there, and there might be other stuff, I don't know, grayling, who knows. Who knows this time of year. It's normally a winter water, I would say, and you can see by the absolutely overgrown edge here that really, and even on the back side, I don't think anybody's fished there. We're going to give it a go. I've got maggots and I've got some pellets, and see what we can winkle out there. If we can get a fish or two, I'll be happy. Let's see if we can find a way in here. I'll be disappearing into the river. I can't actually see where the water starts, if that makes sense. Oh no, I think somebody's fished here. Just looks a little bit squashed down, doesn't it? Anyway, let's get some maggots in there. I'm travelling light. Got my bait here, put brine in there. They normally come with some maize meal and stuff, but I put brine in there, and in hot weather that helps soak up the sweat and the bits of ammonia that they discharge. So they should be smelling, well, I want to say sweet. We'll soon see if there's anything coming up. There's a moorhen over the back. The other way is following the maggots and just see when they disappear, like sort of switching a light out, if that makes sense. And if it's not being fished much, it's going to take a while for the fish to come on the feed. That is the problem with waters that aren't fished much. I don't see any swirls down there. I don't see any maggots. Well, I'm going to fish probably 2 or 3 maggots. I don't think I need to go too skimpy here. I just chucked everything in the bait bucket, I've got to be honest, people. It's just a couple of hours excuse to get out on the river, and that's the truth of it. It might be a blank, but I won't know till I try. Maybe, I think 2 maggots might do it. It's probably deceiving how deep that is, to be honest. Let's just have a little flick out. Float could possibly take another shot, but that was a minnow. I feel that any better fish are going to be over in the faster water. My problem is going to be minnows this time of year. Anyway, they're sort of, yeah, they're minnows. That's going to be a bit of a pain. The trouble is, every strike you make with a float, if you don't connect with anything, it's telling the bigger fish, hang on, there's something peculiar going on there. It could be minnows all the way. Now I've got some bread which I've probably left in the car. Yeah, let's put a bigger bunch of maggots on, I think. Oh, they're not all minnows, people. I've got a good fish hooked up. I don't know what it is. Haven't seen it yet. Better not be a big roach. He's going well. What is that? I'll make sure I don't keep my maggots over. Oh. I think it's a grayling actually. You don't want him in the weeds. Yeah, nice grayling. I think it's a grayling. There we go. See if I can get him out for you. I think he's in. He's in. Save the blank. Oh, yeah, look at that. These generally go crazy. But, oh, he's behaving, nearly. Obviously, these are all wild fish, they're not stocked. I won't keep him out long, but you can see by his big fin, big dorsal at the background. Look at that. On his back. Great fish. Get him back. Well, that was worth coming for itself. I thought I might get dace or roach. Grayling's even better. I feel they deserve a few maggots for that. And a few of those pippy things. I don't know whether they'll take these or not. Look at their nose. I think it was about just down there. And that float went under. That was a strike happy now, what we call strike happy. It's like kids fishing this, like we used to go on streams years ago. Well, I consider myself lucky. The wind's come right up. It's a southeasterly wind, quite strong today. It's not a sea fishing day, I don't think. Look at these little sharp tappy bites. They're definitely, I feel, minnows. I could be wrong, but I feel they are minnows. There we go, we'll find out. There you go. That's the minnow, of which there are probably in the summers play proportions of these things. Another fish on. This one's a bit smaller. That might be a dace. Oh, actually, different again. A wild brown trout, guys. Only a little small one, look. Dinky little thing. So get yourself a disc trawler, you can get the hook out. And that little chap is lovely, he can go straight back. As we say, as English as a Spitfire. Well, that was further down the back there. But I've really got to go and get these BB shot from the car. But here tonight you can't stop fishing. Once you've had that bite, it's terrible. Especially float fishing, which is visual. Oh, there we go. On again. On again. Well, this one is zooming around. This got to be trout, surely. Yeah, I'll go and get that shot, I think. No, that's a grayling. Is it a swinger? Oh, 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 oh. Just a swinger. There we go. Before he goes nuts. Very, very strong fishies. Let's get him back. Well, that was a float that was absolutely, well, dragging the wee bit. In fact, I thought it was wee bit. I just barely lifted into it. Oh, a bigger fish. Wow, that's a good fish, whatever that is. On this little match rod. What is that? It's another brownie. Let's have a look. The reason I use a match rod is to get over these marginal rushes here. Of course, you think small streams and small rivers, you can use small rods. Oh, he's come off. There you go. You can see him anyway. That was a bigger brownie. That was in the faster water over the back. Right, that's 5 fish if you count the minnows. 3 species, not bad for a start. Yeah, I like the longer match rod. Can be a pain if it's real jungle fishing, if you're poking in amongst bushes like that. But for holding your line away from the marginal edges, I feel the longer rod gives you a bit more scope for steering your tackle clear and keeping it out the way of overhangs or stuff like that. My float's actually got tangled up, but I'm still letting it go down. See if anything grabs it. Notice I still haven't gone back to the car to get my split shot. Strange when you think about it, because I mean, I'm saying that the float's not shotted properly, and I just caught, what, 3 fish in a row. Try one in there. Not bad flow considering it's summer. I can see bits and pieces coming off. Maybe they've had a rain shower somewhere. Pretty jungle type fishing up there. Gonna have a move down in a minute, see if we can find another spot. You notice how the minnows have gone off a bit because I'm fishing bigger baits, and also the bigger fish have moved in a bit more. Those grayling and trout are probably more active in the swim. I dare say if I went down in here you get minnows. Let's go and get that shot, Graeme. Have a walk downstream. Of course, come back, rest this and come back. I'll come down below those willows here. There's a little drop off. I've been feeding maggots down there and some of those pellets. The first run down under the shade under there, I've got what looks like another one. I've got to watch my ability to swing him in. Let's get a bit of momentum going. Here he comes. Well, there we go. Much smaller one there. Let's get him back. This is where the disadvantage comes with the longer rod. I've got all these trees up here, which are all in the scope of the rod. So you've got to sort of keep everything low. Don't strike up in the air, strike if you can to the side more. In this case I'm going upstream. And you barely see the float way down in the shadow line, so it's all a bit of a guess down there. And you see that gravel just drops off there, sort of shelf, and shade as well from this tree. So you've got to figure it's a place to fish. Right, just that one fish from there. Going to keep moving. I've got loads of jobs to do this afternoon. Just trying to squeeze a quick session in. Right. Now my recollection is there might be just 1 or 2 other swims up here. A lot of it you can't get into, especially summer conditions, autumn, you know, when the leaves change, there's going to be leaves in the water, it's going to be a problem float fishing. So there's holes in there, but I don't know whether you can actually get in there. It's very, very shallow. Red is a top bait here, I'm told. Well, somebody's definitely fished there. I'm looking and looking. Can you guys see any fish there? Very often it takes you a while to actually spot the fish. I'm not sure they're not fish down there, you know. They look a bit dark. I fished this in the winter and was casting up there, so that's got so overgrown. I think I'll chuck a bit of bait in first and just see if we can see if anything moves. Sort of fish holding area over there, maybe a foot deeper. I don't really need to slide in though, that's the thing. I don't think that's deep enough, people. I do not think that's deep enough. I've come to this spot and you can see the gravel here is pretty clear of weed for some reason. It's not bright green, but there is a tiny drop there, and it doesn't take much of a drop to put a fish in what I call a holding position. So anytime from there down for about 30-40 feet, I would oh, I just pumped it straight on first cast. Can you can sort of get hopefully an idea of what I'm looking for. I can obviously see there's no fish in there, but the pace of that water there, over by that, there's a little curve that comes in there, and I just feed some maggots over there, and they'll go all the way down, and it probably might be a little bit too fast for the dreaded minnows. I'll try that again. You guys didn't see that, but there was a fish straight on it. There. So it goes down about 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, but any time from there onwards, it could be a bite. But the first run through, that was a grayling I bumped off. Now the float's going way down the middle. The current's got it again. I've got the longer rod, so I can afford to let it go down because I'm keeping away from the, hopefully the margin. As it swings in, I want to keep the rod right out like this. See, so I can wind it way out. So a 13-foot rod, and I've got 12 feet of scope there to play with to get it past the overhangs, marginal overhangs I'm calling it. Shame I lost that fish straight away. First run down, about there. So this one I can just sort of lower down there, and there's a little bit of a chute going down about there. If I was a grayling, that's where I'd be sitting waiting for food. Oh, I wonder if I can get down a little bit farther. I missed a fish then. This one I'm holding the float back a little bit. About there should be good. That was a minnow bite. Well, it's certainly very peaceful for an urban environment. I'm on. I'm on, guys. Now is he going to stay on? The thing is, when you're pulling upstream like this, you're actually pulling the hook sort of out of the fish's mouth, if that makes sense. He's coming. And there we go, another grayling. I still feel there's one up here in this top end of what I call the top end of the water down here. Oh, I missed another one. Could have been a minnow, could have been, but I don't think so. I'm right down the bottom now, and I'm on. Probably another grayling, same size. I mean, a bit of sport on that with a match rod. Is that a grayling? Yeah. Wow, grayling central, this place. There he is. He's going to go nuts. Yes, I thought so. That's a good pace. It deserves a fish. And there it is. I did tell you that pace. I knew the pace of that was going through it. I thought that should. That's a little baby trout because it jumped. He's off. It did deserve a fish, that cast. Right, let's have a move down. So, what fisherman can't resist just looking off a bridge? Not a time. You don't see any fish. There's deep pool back there. Fished that one before in the winter. Very, very clear this side, look. All that water's perfectly good enough to put fish in, to hold them, you know. But for some reason, best known to the fish, they're not there. I'm going to try around here this hole. People fish here, obviously, so it's hammered. A little bit shallow there. Let's just check this out. There used to be a hole in here somewhere, but yes, I'm going to get down in there if I can with my long 13-foot match rod. Fish of the day's on, guys. Fish of the day. This is a good fish. Hit it way over the side over there. Oh, what a beaut. This is definitely fish of the day. This is worth coming on its own. This is a big grailing. This is a lovely fish. Look at that. Oh, oh, oh. That's a big fish. That's a good one. Lovely fish. Wow. I didn't hardly throw any bait over there, to be honest, on that side. I wasn't sure I'd be able to hold my float there, but you see that dark side where the weed is. The overhang rather. It's where he was lying. On again, guys, with decent grailing. Yes, another good grailing. Urban fishing, you gotta love it. Look at that, jumping grailing. See if we can bring him out to hand. There he goes. And again. Oh no, that's a snag. Don't lose the float. I think I might have lost the float. Yeah, lost the hook length. Well, I'm going to move from here, guys. I've moved down to this lovely looking pool here, guys. And there's a decent sized pike down there. I've got, I think, a small brown trout hooked up here. I'm hoping the pike doesn't get him. Yeah, that's a small brownie. I'm amazed that pike didn't eat him. You can see it's a lovely sort of 2 feet, 18 inches to 2 feet. Constant, runs over a lip there. So I figured this fish up the top end. It's very roachy here. I think I might have to give this a good 10 or 15 minutes. And a supply of bait as well. So I'm only going to be here for another short period. Pike was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 pounds, something like that. He was right down there, just laying there. Then I moved the rushes so I could get into the fish, and he just drifted off. I think he's gone down the back under those trees. Right, see what else is out on that side. Got a little bit deep, it's way deeper than it looks here. You want it sort of tripping the bottom without snagging. I'm going to try one up there first. So there is one of those drops. Oh, no. I'm going to try up there again. And this is just a drop off there. It could be minnow central, I don't know. About there or down is good. Float's just over there. Now I'll get minnowed there. There's a little run underneath this tree here. That's shallow right up. See if I can just get down. I'll throw some maggots in. All this stuff's going to tangle here. It might be very shallow. I can't even see really with my polarizers, you know, with my glasses on. I can't really get at it. No, I think it's too fast and too shallow, but you never know. Good spot going in there, good spot to slip in. And I'm tangled as well, good, happy. I'll just try this one once more. Want to get over there. That's it. Oh, I was nearly up the tree. Try again. Almost impossible. I think this one is an impossible swim, this one. A nice cool stretch through here. I don't think it gets any better downstream from what I remember. Big tree over there. Probably all changed. Oh, it's about 2 years since I've been here. Another worn spot. Does that mean it's worth a throw? I suppose it does. Let's try it. Well, this probably looks about the last spot worth trying down here. Even if I could stand down there, it's so low. Done that back end. I've been throwing some bread down. Look, the bread's going down from further in a swim up there. And look, trout taking the bread. So there's local guys told me years ago, try some floating crust for the bigger trout. They're probably not wrong. So there's a fish there. I think we'll put some more bread out actually, guys. Getting near the end. Maybe the last 10 minutes or so. Look, just there. They're loving that bread. I wonder if I put a piece of crust, I think they take a piece of bread flake to be honest, on the hook, and that would avoid me using maggots. So he's just down there, that's out. What's a piece of bread? Watch. Is he going to take it? No. There's a load more coming down. I'll just keep my head cam there. I figure he's in that area there, he's going to come up. Trout on bread, eh? I've caught him on currant cake. The minute I look away, he'll take. Let's give him a few maggots. Can't say I don't give him a special treat. Very windy out there. It's about the only place worth fishing if I can get a cast up there. I've got to say I've seen no fish sort of darting and flashing around. Right, that float is right on a line to go through where that trout was down there. About there. No, he didn't take it. Nearly came back with a pair of lips then, Graeme. This is where the disadvantage is of the long rod in here, you can see. So there are advantages and disadvantages. Second run down. The third run down, if I don't get a take here, I'm going to be using. It could have been the bottom. I wonder if I try a piece of bread. Just try a pinch of bread flake down there. Let's have a go at that. See what he thinks of it. It's not on the surface, but it's going through about 15 inches down. I seem to be getting minnowed out now, guys. I've got a really good swim here. Looks good. And right over the back, I can see the bottom of it. The deep hole seems to be over there. Oh, come on. Is that a fish? Oh, that was a good fish. I thought that was a bottom. So I'm down 2 last knockings here, guys. That's a real good fish over there I lost. I thought it was a bottom. What the heck could that have been? That's annoying. And a tangle. I fear I might lose this float if I get too close to where I want to be. It's over in that corner he was somewhere. Good pace through there, zooming through. If I was a grayling I'd be in there, or a trout. And that was a fish I just bumped off. See, there's a hole up there that's got big fish screaming all over it. Whistling through. No. I'm going to switch off till I hook up, guys, so I'm low on battery. Well, I've had a really good session. It was only supposed to be 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 hours. I've walked a lot farther than I thought I would, and I caught a lot more fish than I thought I would. I've had a lot of small grain and I haven't even filmed, to be honest. So I've got to get back. I'm a bit tired from that walk. Fingers crossed you enjoyed it. Don't switch off. There's something else I'm going to put up as well. I'm going to grab a sandwich now, just relax by the river on the bench here. Fingers crossed I might get just one more cast back in down there. Of course, the other thing is I haven't bought enough food. Rubbish I'm eating. It's terrible, isn't it? Just gonna have 1 or 2 casts in this swim. There you go, there you go. I had a feeling that there were fish in here. Another grading. Wow, what a little session this has been. Let's give me fairly quickly. He's in. What a trip. Just a hunch to do a bit of float fishing on the river. And there we go. It's another nice fish. They're all nice fish. He's actually unhooked himself as well. Let's get him back. The winds make it a little bit difficult for me at the moment. Oh, it's nice to get chatfish. Well, it was going to be my last fish, but oh dear. Doesn't seem to be any chub in here, which I would expect to be right at the tail of the swim there. I think that little bit extra depth, just let it drag in the bottom. Definitely got me that better fish, I feel. So I did say earlier, very often the bigger fish are going to be tight to the bottom. They're going to come racing up through the layers of the river to grab a bait. If you go shallow, I find you're going to get minnows. I'll put a good old handful of maggots in there that time. They should be zooming around eating them. There we go, there we go. Slow bite, very slow bite. Hopefully you saw that on a camera. Oh, it's a nice one. That's a good fish. I don't want him diving in that weed. I can help it. He's in. That's nearly as big as that really early doors fish I had. Very strong fish. Yeah, look at that, it's a beauty, isn't it? That is a nice grading. Well, hey, that one turned into a better trip than I thought when I first left home, I can tell you. Happy days. Now don't go away because we're still on the theme of float fishing. I'm going down to see a famous float fisherman. His name is Bill Rushmer. He's been around a long time and he makes some of these. So I'm down here at Bill's, not a million miles away from the famous royalty. In fact, I've been down and had a look at the royalty. And that's as far as I'm doing, I'm just looking. So there was a guy down there, I won't say how many trips he's had, but he's enjoying the day, but he's not enjoying the fishing. But somebody does enjoy the fishing is Bill, and Bill, you love a bit of float fishing.
Oh, I certainly do. Actually, today I caught my first mullet for 5 weeks, believe it or not, a thick lip, about £4 odd. It's been grim down here because we've not had the rain.
Yeah, sure.
It's made life very difficult for us, to say the least. Water's gin clear.
Yeah.
I would hate to think how far down you can see in the water.
Really?
I mean, if I was back on my beloved tidal Thames, I'd be struggling
with that, clear water, slow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been out at times, you know, that on ex-Francis, which is the punk club at Twickenham.
Yeah.
Now, we got these rye pits, which are mooring poles.
Sure.
Stuck into the bottom. Anyway, I'm sitting there in 7 foot of water, more away, fishing away one year, and I'm thinking, this is getting hard. This is really hard. Steamer goes by, and one of my right backs started going loose. So I went in, pounded it in, and I suddenly noticed a cloud coming up. And I really looked down in there. In 7 foot of water, I could see the shoe, the metal shoe that's on the mooring pole, stuck in the bottom. Wow. In 7 foot of water.
Wow, that clear.
Yeah, I moved out into deeper water straight away.
Yeah, don't blame me.
And
Yeah.
I thought 7 foot of water, that's ridiculous. And it's not far short of that here at all. Anyway, we come to talk about floats. I've been making floats, I think, since I was about 13. Originally, I couldn't afford a lot of money, and I've been working with model aircraft for quite a few years. And lo and behold, I started making balsa trotting floats, and it all came from that, and polished up a lot by, of course, the late Ray Mumford, who was a good friend of mine. Anyway, let's have a look what we start off with. The cane, don't worry about the colour on it, and I buy the bodies shaped and drilled.
And that's why, Bill. Is that, would it split? You know,
It often, yes, and it's far easier. Let's face it, I don't want to end up getting cancer because of all the dust and everything, and that's what happens to
sanding it.
Yeah. Far easier this way. They're quite cheap. Shortage of all woods at the moment.
Sure.
Canes, well, basically most of them are bamboo skewers.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You see them?
Yep.
Pound for
Many.
100 roughly. Anyway, step one, get my old araldite on, glue that into position.
That's what the red mark on the stalk, as it were, is for.
Yes, that's what yes, as a guide.
Yeah.
Then I glue it with araldite rapide, and it's quite solid there. That won't come off.
Yep.
After that, a quick coat of I buy this from, I think it's B&Q. It's a sealer and an undercoat. Used to years ago use sanding sealer. You're not allowed to, they won't post it to you now.
Yeah, why is that?
So inflammable.
Really?
Yeah, before entering teaching, I was a chemist working for a company that made them. And the regulations you wouldn't believe. If they caught you smoking around a corner, they'd shoot you.
Bang, bang.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We actually had a fire station on site just to make certain everything was
hunky-dory, yeah.
Yes. And I didn't realise it. I looked up, and there's these tanks, long, great tanks surrounding it. I looked up in them. They're all full of water. And of course the lads have all put in tench, carp, huge, great, there's not crucian, koi swimming around.
Really?
Oh yes. And how shall I say, if we did get a fire, that not only use our own fire station, we just pull the plugs on this and the whole lot would go underwater.
I see.
Too dangerous.
To flood it, yeah.
Yeah. Because we were right opposite Hawkers, and of course in the old biplane days they were all used dope.
Yeah, on the wings, that's true.
It's true. Anyway, once I've done that...
So that's to seal it up, so you get a good finish with your paint, is it? So
yes.
Beginners know, yeah.
Yeah, and I flat it. Now, I was put on to this by Pat Tarrant. Ray didn't use them, he used ordinary paint. But I'm now using water-based acrylics.
Yeah.
So I paint the body black. The tip I don't need to because it's already white, isn't it?
Yes, with your primer, as it were.
Yeah. I then mottle the paint, mottle the float with green paint. This gives a rather distinctive.
Yeah, would you sort of dab that with a brush to get that effect on it?
Sure, a bit of foam.
A bit of foam, yeah?
Yeah. Then just bit of water-based fluorescent acrylic. That's it.
These would be from artists' places or
it's craft shops.
Craft shops.
Yeah. All straight. Roughly speaking, Bought some day before yesterday, £2 a tube.
Oh, so it goes miles with floats, doesn't it, I imagine?
Oh, it does. I mean, all my floats, I've got so many of them. I think I shook the Angler's Mail. They said to me, can you do a shot of a load of floats? And I think I did 1,500 in a surrounding in the garden. Now, the only problem is everything here is water-based. So I finish off.
It's got to be sealed, is what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, it's got to be sealed. Ordinary yacht varnish.
Yeah, yeah. Just with a fine brush and...
Yes, yeah.
Couple of coats, yeah.
Couple of coats to make certain that it's done properly.
Is that a polyurethane varnish?
Yes, it is.
So it's hard?
Yes.
It's quite hard setting.
Well, you feel it?
Yeah, yeah. I can't, I've got my camera with me. I'll take you if I can see the shine on it there. It looks like it's a hard varnish.
Yes, it is a hard varnish. You've got to have that because otherwise you'd be dissolved away.
Yeah, it'd be nothing. You'd be looking at just a white piece of wood.
Yes, that's true.
And most of your floats, they don't have an eye at the bottom, Bill?
Well, most of my trotting floats don't.
Yeah.
Just a long length of
silicone rubber or something.
Silicone rubber, yeah.
Why not an eye on a river float, so guys know? Why? Is that a personal thing or is there a reason for it?
Personal. That way, it's all in one straight line, isn't it?
Yeah, rather than having that kink through the wire.
Yeah, anything that gives a kink on it, you're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, I can see what you mean. As soon as you said it, I can see the line goes through the eye.
Yeah.
With a kink, yeah.
Yeah. So that's...
Now, let me ask you the other thing. Because I'm looking at all these floats, and I like my float fishing, as you know. I want to know, why do you leave the stems not dark, say like black, which the fish would,
I think
in my mind, see? Would you not do the bottom of the stem?
I have done.
You've tried all the experiments with everything, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Bear in mind, on mainly these, particularly on the Tidal of the Thames, I'm fishing, on average, 8-9 foot.
Oh, yeah, so it doesn't matter. Fish aren't going to see it. It's too late. Too late by the time they do.
Oh, yes.
Just tell us about some of the different types of river floats that you would use.
Yes, just go through. At the moment, believe it or not, I know you're going to say to me, Graeme, this is more a pipe bung, but I was put on these by Tony G at Ace Tackle and Bait, Kiddlington, Oxford. I've known Tony for years. He said, couldn't make me up some 10-gram floats, could you? And 8s. Now, look at that. Yeah, you and I would say they're pipe bungs, wouldn't you? With a cane.
Take some weight there, aren't they?
Yeah. Now, they're fishing across the Thames, right?
Yep.
And winning matches with them. Now,
really?
That's
You're talking... We talked about them earlier, the big one, 6 swan shot, is that?
Yeah, about 6.
Now, one called a swan shot SSG.
Yeah, 1.6 grams.
Yeah. So
that's 10.
That's some weight, isn't it? And what rubber for the top would you put on the top?
I just use silicone.
Just anything, yeah. Just silicone and cut it to size.
Cut it to size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Actually, when I started making floats, the first floats I made were balsa wood when I was 13. Too expensive for me to buy, especially the way I used to lose floats. And basically, what I found was the shop ones, the top was just rounded off. Great, but you start holding back, fishing over depth, which we regularly on tidal, the darn thing would rise. Now, with the shoulders, water hits the shoulders as it comes down and holds it in. So you notice there's a shoulder there. Can you see that?
Yeah, where it comes up, yeah.
Yeah, that holds the float down.
The fact that it slightly tapers up.
Yeah. That's the whole name of the game. But they were the first floats I made.
A standard trotting float, you call that one?
Yes, I would call that. That was my standard trotting float, except I've got the shoulders on it, and some of them are a lot more pronounced than that.
And the little black tip there for running through a bit of glare or something like that?
Something like that. Or sometimes I'll be shotted right down, and of course when it rises, you can't miss it, can you, with the orange?
Yeah.
People think I'm fishing it like that. I'm fishing it there.
I'm not.
No, neither am I now. Get the glasses out.
Now.
Graham, get the glasses out. Come on, I'm even older than you.
Yeah, and that little black tip there, I can see it just,
Yeah.
but I'm sat at the table.
Yeah.
And then you had an unusual one, a small, very, very small one, which
That's one.
I've not seen the like of before.
No, that's one that Pat Tarrant. He died all of a sudden. Really great innovator. They called that the skittle.
A skittle, yeah. I see the reason why, yeah.
Yeah, the shape. In fact, his were much more skittle shaped than mine. Top on it, shotted to there.
Yeah.
Bulk shotted along there, along the bottom. Now, the great thing about the skittle is you can fish it shallow. Now, Billy Lane had made the Trent Trotter, and you'll notice the bottom is a lot more tapered than this. This is basically got this flat bit to stop it going right down.
Yeah.
Last thing you want when you're fishing shallow is the actual float going across the field of vision of the fish. I mean, my great claim to fame with using one of those was on at Barton Court. I'd been fishing, I had a few fish out. Some were good fish. Barton Court is, of course, the upper Kennet. And I suddenly saw this huge great roach all on its own in this pool. And I thought, uh-oh. When I got the gear. And as it always is, isn't it? Sod's law, the damn thing has gone.
It's
Moved. But I still cast out. I don't know what it was, 18 inches deep.
Yeah.
Float went out. The bread sunk. And right from the far side there, this huge great roach came along and hit it. It's the only fish in that pool, I reckon. And that was £2.3. Sorry, £3.2. Yes, I've had plenty of 2 3s, but that's the only 3 I've ever had. But he just shot out and took the skittle.
And just on the bottom of that, that doesn't have a, you put a, how does it feel?
I've glued in a eye. You can buy these all, just drill them out with a bait drill and away you go. I can't.
So that you would put the line through the ring there. I can't even see it. So
yeah, there's the ring. But basically, I just shaped it and drilled it out with a bait drill.
Yeah.
Arrowed eye, pushed it in. I think they cost me about twopence each. Those.
The end of the ring.
Yeah, that was under twopence. You buy them in bulk. But the skittle never really caught on. You can use them, of course, up in the water and still waters as well. But a lot of the lads were trotting with these. Great float.
So that would have been late 60s, would it be something like that? Or the 70s, when would that have?
It'd been late 60s, yeah, late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
I think my big fish was caught in mid-70s, 74, I think. That's traditional avon, isn't it?
I call that traditional shape, yeah, bodied avon.
Yeah, and also you've got the quill body. I'm not using so much crow now. I'm using more, being on the coast, of course, as Christchurch is. I'm using seagull quills.
Oh, really? What does that work out like then?
It works out exactly the same. They're hollow at the top.
So guys know the feather's stripped off and the quill is this piece.
Yeah.
Guess who has to go along the seashore and collect them?
Yeah, we have good sessions on that and little competitions. Who
collects the most?
Who gets the most, yeah. Who makes the best floats?
Oh, yeah. Now, you'll notice there's whipping right the way down. It's only open turn whipping.
Yeah.
That's to make certain it's got a bit more strength. That's all.
That's what that's there for?
Yes, just to give it a bit more strength. They're more traditional.
You haven't experimented with colours. You're happy with that camouflage paint, I can see.
Yes, I am so happy with the camouflage, yes. Well, it's virtually mine and what was the Tonkas and Optimus specimen groups colours. We were greatly influenced by Ray Mumford.
This one, so people can see the different shapes of them. Just describe the.
Well, the body up is
the actual
generally
body itself.
Yeah,
they might look the same from distance, but they're not, are they?
No,
they're three
not.
different, totally different.
It's the body up seems to be now what I'm turning over to, because they seem to ride that little bit better.
Yeah.
What I would suggest is you take these home with you and give them a try.
Now you call those body ups. That means the bulk of the body is up in the float. Is that what you?
Yes, there.
Yeah, tapers from here up to the top. Yeah. And these come like that. That curve in that is the natural
curve. Yeah. No.
So prior to that, you would use what? Crow quills.
Crow quills. Well, we used a lot of crow quills in our time.
There's not many crows left.
No, there isn't down here compared with seagulls.
Yeah.
Of course, being where we are.
Does it make any difference, Bill, with the
I have no
oil
idea.
content in the seagulls' feathers, being as they're seabirds? Nothing noticeable?
Nothing noticeable, no. Now, yeah, stick floats are very popular. But I'd imagine you, like me, at times, you get some rotten mornings in the winter, don't you?
Yeah.
And they don't stick out. One of the things I do with some of mine is use that good old bait drill out the top, and drop a pole top
Yes.
in
Yeah.
and glue it in, because it's easier to pick up. You've got something like that showing.
Or on a
And
ripple, windy day or something like that?
Ripple, windy day. Down here, we get some very dull winter days with ripple on them. You barely see them, so that gives you a chance to see it.
Yeah, because so people know. Normally a stick float would be, I'm going to go there, say.
Yes, that's right.
It's just that pip at the top, isn't it? And,
Yeah.
and if you shot it any way down, you're going to have a hell of a job to see it and ripple or anything like
Yes,
that.
you
You end up
certainly-
striking at nothing,
Yeah,
and that
nothing.
might spook the fish.
Yeah.
So
that's
putting
it.
this, I think they call it a bristle, do they?
Yes, it's a bristle.
They put a bristle in there. It just gives it extra bit to see go under, but it's not going to affect the buoyancy of the float, would it?
No.
It's
just go
it's
straight
narrow,
down.
go straight under.
Yeah. So that's another little dodge we get up to.
What would they take on
Whatever they say on the side. What's that? 8 number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're both about the same size. No, one's a 6 number 4.
Now, I would say, beginners would say, why can't I use 2 of a bigger shot? And I'm going to say that's because we used to fish a stick float with a shirt button shotting pattern.
Yes, well, because
that's
it's-
why it's so many numbers of that shot.
Yeah.
Just describe that for them.
Well, basically, our whole idea is that when you hit the water, it's laid out.
Yeah.
So you cast underarm, laid out, and it sinks. And the shot makes certain it comes down evenly.
Yeah.
So if fish come up and take it, you'll see it straight away.
Yeah, that's the object of the exercise. So
Yeah.
basically the stick float's more likely to have what we call the shirt button
Yes.
shotting pattern
Yeah.
than these bodied avon ones, which I suppose you can move the shot around.
Yeah, and in a punt, we never ever used shirt button shotting.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, think of it. Punt across the River Thames,
Yeah.
water's hitting the back. It's turbulent.
Oh, I see,
in
turbulence
front.
from the-
Oh, yeah, we've seen people come out, know it all, and
Yeah.
come back. It was all one tangle.
Oh no, really? Because it's
Yeah.
turbulence from the
Yeah.
boat has swirled it all up.
Or swirled it all up.
Yeah.
So we all, basically, it's grouped down
Yeah.
when we're pump fishing.
To take it down to the bottom fast.
Take it down to the bottom fast, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you very much. A few tips on river floats and that. We'll go through some lake ones as well in another film.
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting listening to Bill talk about historical methods of float fishing and how he makes them. You cannot beat, honestly, a little bit of float fishing. If you haven't done it, it's worth a try. These things aren't just a gimmick. They will catch you fish. And listen, they're homemade. That's a big difference. I can't wait to put some water to these. Thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Hit the subscribe button. TA Fishing, TA Outdoors. Don't forget, try and hit the like button. It's free. Okay guys, we'll see you next time and hopefully a few more fish.